this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and more specifically from beautiful Danville, Illinois. And this is Midday with Reverend Don. Welcome. And as you know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, you can type your comments or questions into whatever platform you're watching on, assuming you're watching live, and they should show up here in our chat room. And today, my guest is Ed The Pagan. Hi, Ed.
Hi, how you doing? Today I'm more Gaia Thrift.
Yes. We're going to be talking about Whatnot and about Gaia Thrift. And I also want to say a word about Edward's new book, The Witch Wars Defense Manual, Volume 2, How to Win. And you may have heard about the Witch Wars Defense Manual, Volume 1, which was published 18 years ago and has been creating ripples ever since. And hello to Cassandra in the chat room. It's good to see you. Because it exposed many of the secrets of Witch Wars. And hello to Janet. Happy anniversary, Janet. Happy anniversary, Michael. Hello to Antonio in the chat room. It's good to see you. Witch Wars Defense Manual Volume 2 will continue to help people to understand the tactics that are used in this kind of conflict in Witch Wars and the wider cultural wars. So you can understand what's being done and help to defend yourself against it. And that has an ETA of October 31st. And hello to Arlene in the chat room. Hello to Janet Winston in the chat room. It's good to see you. So, Edward.
Yes. Whatnot. Okay, so let's talk about Whatnot. You'll see our auctions in there. I'm trying to find our invitation thing and just put up into the thing. So Whatnot is a live streaming services for auctions and for selling goods to the public. And it's very much like, we've been doing video and media. We've always been kind of on the cutting edge. And while we've been good, we refer to ourselves as grinders. We're grinders. We are not caught up in the flash. I mean, we've been on all of the services.
Yes.
MySpace, Friendster, for those who really ate ourselves. We were on the internet. They were e-groups that became Yahoo groups. And we were like masters of that. And that is now faded. Now it's just called email marketing and newsletters. Yeah. But we were there too. So in a lot of ways, we've seen it. A lot of people compare it to TikTok. TikTok, I screamed and yelled it was going to change the way the community worked. They say how you communicate, and it did. And boy, looking back on the old book, I've been putting out a lot of statements. That was from 2005. I made statements about different things coming before social media. Just as Facebook come out. Okay, so what is Whatnot? Whatnot is a live streaming sales platform. Not unlike, you can say, like eBay. Well, yeah, like eBay or like other things. What it does to do, and we'll do it tonight at 6 o'clock, is put up your auctions to a live audience so that you do live bidding. Now, there's other places you can do, but it's at such a cost, and this is what makes it effective. The cost of selling is so less. The friction is so less that it makes it easier to do so. Not eBay, but eBay plus PayPal was a tremendous combination. eBay was good, but I was an early eBay seller. We built the whole witch school out of funds that I raised on eBay. And it went well, but we had to wait for the checks to come. And then we had to clear the checks. And it could be weeks to months before people got the product because there was no guarantee. There was no assurance that everything worked. I mean, we wouldn't send out anything without putting out a check. And people would mail money to us through the mail. And then people would say, I paid you. I go, no, you didn't. And it was a mess. In comes PayPal. PayPal allowed us to make the auctions and make the transactions nearly simultaneous. And while it had its issues, it changed the nature of eBay. Whatnot does it again. It is a new platform and a new service and a new way to do so. And so check that out. It's live and product sales, and you get to see all your friends and you can communicate, with them.
Wonderful. We want to say hello to Linda in the chat room and hello to Renee.
So yeah. So I'm, there you go. There it is. And, if you go to any of our pages, we have basically, there you go.
And hello to Nicholas in the chat room. It's good to see you, Nicholas.
All right. There we go. And now let me add this because they're a new system, brand new system, right?
Hmm.
And I'm going to put it in the chat. There you go. And let me go ahead and show this to everybody down on the bottom level. If you go there and sign up, because we only have 12 people signed up, we only have 4 referral. If you go do that, they will give you $15 store credit.
Which is wonderful.
Yep.
So please consider signing up for that and getting that credit.
Right. So yeah, and there it goes. And if you're a seller, contact us. We have another credit going to be there. And so I'm going all in on this one because we know what happened. Twitter, we were great on Twitter. We have a 20, some of the old accounts are, big there. We were grinding on Facebook. We grinded on eBay. We grinded on, as everybody knows, podcasts and other types of media. We've never found the formula to make us supersize. And I know that that's hard for people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people laugh about that and talk otherwise about it. But we've always been there for the community, always worked it. So Whatnot is a great answer. And what it is, it's that live streaming. What it'll also offer us is something that can help the community.
Mm-hmm.
But you were about to say something, Don.
I was going to say, can we talk a little bit about what Gaia Thrift is doing on Whatnot?
That's a great segue. So tonight we're going to be selling books, metaphysical goods, T-shirts, shirts. We're going to sell everything we can flip because this is where the economy is. And we're doing it for 3 reasons. All right. The first reason is that we need to fund an elder care program here in Danville and in the pagan community. And we've been talking about this for a very long time. And that became very aware to us because me and Don are relatively young men. It depends on how you measure it. I'm on the edge.
It depends on your own age whether you would consider us relatively young men. Yes.
Right. And also that we're on the edge of being senior citizens. And we've had our health crises and we've survived them. And we've survived them intact financially.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we learned last year is that we ended up having to, in order to get Don into a healthier position, we had to sell his accumulation of tremendous treasures to the public. We sold them for over $7,000-8,000, even though they're probably valued at much more of that. And we did it in a way that preserved the value of them. We sold it into the tradition, into community, and to people who had value of them. And we did it through a combination of live, Facebook, and other systems. And we realized that in that conversation, a lot of other elders have these tremendous collections, these tremendous libraries, these tremendous pieces of folklore, and that have great value even to our own community if only people knew it. So Gaia Thrift, not only are we going to try selling everything to raise a revenue to kind of start dealing with the elder care situation, especially here in Danville. I mean, let's be honest, this is about Danville and getting a center here that helps for Corellians and other pagans as they are a part of the process.
Absolutely.
So that's number 1. And Gaia Thrift then does that through the sale of goods. And we can help other elders by not only the sale of goods, but we can also we can make a deal with them to make sure they get a high amount of that value back. We can charge a service for that.
Yes, indeed. And hello to Black Crystal in the chat room. It's good to see you.
Right. Plus, we're going to get into all other things. We have a lot of other things we can get into, but that's what it is. Taking goods, flipping them so we can raise revenue for healthcare. Number 1 reason. The number 2 reason, I just said it, is to get more value to the elders and to others who need to sell off items. I have seen more than this. I have a 500 book library. I have to move because I'm moving into a tiny apartment. Who will take them? And they try to sell them. If we can get them here into Danville, we have a center, and we're going to start tonight. It's going to be the big night. We're going to show you how it works. We're going to be here. We're going to have fun. We're going to ship out, and we have to do all that. And we're going to use other services too. But if we can get our hands on them and the pictures, and maybe even at a distance, we're going to be able to deal with that. We're going to be able to raise revenue for them as well as for us. We can help them with their crises of finances because the value of goods is going up. We're reaching peak consumerism. And there's a lot of it to talk about in that sort of new changing of the market. And the third reason, not only do we need to do this, but here's why I'm really big into Whatnot becoming sellers. I'm trying to join their I will be joining their affiliate program in a little bit. Is because it's going to expand and grow, and early movers win.
Mhm.
I want all of you to be early movers. Get that free piece of uh, $15. Get that free piece. They're not going to do that. They gave. I remember when they gave $5 for you to join PayPal. Then it was
Yes,
$10. And then they gave us $5 for everybody we referred. Well, it was a good source of revenue.
that's
When
true.
these, huh?
That's true. I remember that.
And as they're advertising, there's going to be undersized attention. Um, that's a good question, Janet. I don't know when it's going to be open to the public. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be open.
Yeah,
I'm going to get
this
open
weekend.
about 9 o'clock. But there's a real discussion about having a physically open store here in Danville, and we'll talk more about that.
Well,
Versus
yeah,
having it, versus building an internet. That's why we're talking about Whatnot, and also Poshmark. We're signed up with. There are now so many ways to sell. Um,
but
but
we've
if you
all
want to come
always
down,
done best online.
we've done best online. And we are attempting to open a physical store here because it was supposed to build jobs and things like that. But I think we're going to have to build jobs online.
Hmm.
We'll see. But we're generally open tomorrow
Hmm.
as we get ready and Saturday. So we're definitely opening up that. And there you go.
And hello to Mary
Uh,
Cavalcante in the chat room.
and by appointment. Let's make it very clear. By appointment. Give us a call. I
Yes.
mean, if you really want to come down and you have friends, I would rather make an appointment. If you guys want to, I'd love to have somebody down there just to take care of you by appointment. Hmm?
Absolutely.
By attention.
So, what are we doing tonight?
Well, tonight we have books. Like, that we've had a lot of Echelon books.
Hmm.
Actually, I just sold this book online. So we have books like this, but this one sold. You're going to see, I've been previewing some of it on Gaia Thrift Central, which is our Facebook page. And one of the things I'm doing for our fans, people who've been with us, is I am offering that to you guys first on Gaia Thrift Central on the Facebook page. And
The
if you
people
want to get it,
may not know about the Eschaton books,
yeah,
but the Eschaton books were a group of high quality books that were published 30 years ago,
yeah, 90s.
long, long out of print. Now, we happen to have a collection of some of these, and you won't. I don't think you can find them anywhere else.
No,
Uh,
no, these are pretty unique. You might find the reprints or the secondary with new publishers, a few of them, but these are the
mhm.
originals. This was at a time when there was, and it was the same time as, that we saw some of the early Witch Wars.
Yes.
People don't realize that it was out there, but Echelon Books was by Brendan Tripp out of
Hmm.
Chicago, out of the Parliament. One of the best books he put. He started with me. I was Your Voice, but he made a miscalculation that most people make. And what's that? Two of them. Well, I'll tell you mine, and I'll have Don tell you his. And Don's is good, but mine is that he misjudged the size of his market or what it was going to take to reach him. And this is right as the internet started to emerge and everything else. And he didn't realize that the average book only sells about 200 copies. That
Hmm.
the vast majority of books are not big sellers, and that publishers depend on one book out of 10 to really make their money. And this is why they go back to Stephen King. That's why they go back to published writers. We have friends like Michelle Bellinger and Nash Ashcroft, and I should remember the other one, Dana. Lots of them. They go Conway.
Hmm.
They've gone independent of these publishers because these publishers, in a lot of ways, take a lot of money and not necessarily get a lot of copies sold.
Well,
So,
yeah.
and that's why Curling Publishing exists. Llewellyn once published our materials, and they have a few items still out there. But the amounts we sell probably fewer copies than they would.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
we get a higher section of income.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing. And that's why Etchison Book went out of business, because they couldn't really afford, after publishing thousands and thousands of copies, um, they couldn't afford. And I ended up with them as a liquidation. But one of the other reasons he didn't sell, we were running Pagan Expo, and Don carried away.
Well,
Rhinestone.
Brendan made a huge discovery, one that I have listened to ever since. And it was at a particular event, and he was very frustrated. His books weren't moving,
Mm-hmm.
and he was looking at other tables, and he felt that items of far less quality were moving because, as he put it, they had stuck rhinestones all over them. They were selling on their visual appeal rather than their quality. And my answer to that has always been stick some rhinestones on the books, make them appealing, and they will go better. And I've always been extremely mindful of the covers of our Corellian publication books ever since then, to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
they are eye-catching. Um,
Wait, you can't judge a book by its cover?
for most people, when they're buying it, that's all they're going to see. They may read what's on the back, but that's still the cover. It's rare they're really going to look too far inside before they buy it, especially if they're buying it online. Um, I studied advertising back in the days when there was something called a commercial artist. That no longer really exists. But one of the things we studied was how you have to get people's attention. If you want them to look at what you're doing, whether it's selling a book, advertising an event, or anything else, you've got to grab their attention immediately, and you've got to sell them partly on the look of what you're selling, because they're not going to pursue it if that interest is not there from the start. And I credit Brendan with the discovery of the importance of rhinestones on the cover. And unfortunately, he
Right.
did not put any rhinestones on his own covers. But on the other hand, they were already printed. Um,
Um, and
but
and and that's what makes publishing a little different today. Wow, that
yes,
came out
indeed.
huge. That's for the Witch Wars Defense Man. If you look at it, I like it because it got its Easter eggs in it.
Yes.
Um, One of the things is I'm going to come. I have a chapter of my own version of the voodoo doll or the poppet. So I use them.
Hmm.
Most people don't realize. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I use them pretty extensively.
Yes, you do.
And last year I put 13. This is going to be. This is why it's called Witch Wars. 13 in the ground dolls are each treated and represented somebody that I needed to see their magic reverse on them. Yeah, I did. And I
Hmm.
haven't told everybody publicly that I did. I didn't tell you who they were. Um, though I do have that list. And yeah, some of them have already suffered for it. So I do believe in that. So somebody earlier asked about curses. Well, I like voodoo dolls, and I believe, if you're willing to pay a price for magic, you have to pay a price for magic. You do. I don't care what anyone says. It can come very easily. It can be as easy as running. I mean, you don't have to do a lot to be able to run. You just have to meet some basic requires and put the effort in. So if you like good, clean magic, then it's just kind of akin to jogging. If you want to
Hmm.
go a really long distance, you can't do it right away, but you can get there, and you can get there by drinking good water, hydrate yourself, eating proper proteins, and doing the work. No one ever got healthy reading about push-ups,
That's true.
but only by doing them. Um,
Yeah,
and doing
sitting and watching healthy
Mhm.
recipes on YouTube is not going to give you a healthy diet. You have to actually
No,
make the food.
right, or just live vicariously and just eat nothing. Um, but so I'm not saying that that you don't pay a price for magic. You do. You pay the effort, the prayer, the beliefs, and the attunement of the mind. Same goes with any other form of magic. I am not a Pollyanna, and that's Remember, I put out Witch Wars too, and a lot of people got really angry with me.
Hmm.
And I'm not known as a Pollyanna. I've been the Paladin General for a very long
Yeah.
time. Um, so yeah, there you go. And I like so on the cover you put in a voodoo doll in the hand, or I know some people say you shouldn't call them voodoo dolls because it's a misnomer, but no, that's the collective egregore. There's a thing about going to the collective egregore. Um, you might not like this what it's defining. You may want to change it, but it still has a lot of energy behind it.
Yes. I'm a great believer in the whole idea of harm none, but that does
Mm-hmm.
not preclude self-defense. It does not preclude a fair fight between equals. And if you
No,
want to get my opinion on that, you can go through the back videos at Corellian TV and find dozens of vlogs dealing with what is or is not the karmic effect of various things. Um, but yeah,
and so right now we're at a time when everybody's really beginning to battle in the, I would call it, into the psychic realm. We're in the middle of a cosmic psychic war, a war of the gods, a war of nations, a war of people, and we're also in a war with telepathic powers, meaning we're instantaneously communicating, and this is what makes Whatnot such a great shot, simultaneously. Now, for the first time, I can show you. Not only can you just say, "Oh, do I want the book or not?" You can say, "Hey, can you show me the back page? Can you show me the inside?" Um, yes, Mary said, "I'm enjoying the videos that you're posting from the log." Yeah,
thank you, Mary.
and did you know there are 3 books out there? Right, 3.
Oh, that's right. That's true. There are 3 books called Rev Don's Books of Questions, Volume 1, 2, and 3, available at CorellianPublishing.com, which each one of them includes 100 questions from the vlog, together with their answers. So if you wanted to have a hard copy compendium of those questions, that's where you would find it. There's a 4th volume yet to come. But
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
and
early next year, right?
hmm,
Early next year, right?
hopefully, yes. It's a matter of my having the time to put it together,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully I will. But during that 10 years that I was doing the vlog, I covered every kind of question you can think of, from whether or not you can turn yourself into a mermaid. One of the few questions to which my answer was more or less no, um, through the use of spell work, to whether you can turn yourself into a werewolf, to which the answer was more complex, to all kinds of things about energy and magic and philosophy. It's and UFOs. And Mary says, "Oh, I don't have those. I'll have to go look now." By all means, um, they're quite good. Even if I say so myself, and I really love doing the vlogs, and I love the fact we're putting them back up. Although after 10 years, it got to be a bit much of a grind. I'm enjoying using this format now. But for example, Linda was asking about curses earlier in this program, and I'm not usually. Um, it depends on the program, but I don't necessarily. I usually have a theme for these programs.
Right.
Um, but if you want my opinion on curses, there's several vlogs talking about what is morally appropriate, what is not morally appropriate, what is possible, because lots of people ask that kind of question, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And if you want to buy something from, I have a discount code called ETP, and you
Hmm.
get 20% off on anything from the Corellian Publishing.
That is the Ed the Pagan discount code.
Yes. Knowing me actually has a lot of value. It's one of
Yes,
the
it
things that
does.
I do leverage inside that, because everybody says you're not. So people are asking me, and one of the questions I get about which was defense man and leadership, and says, "Well, you're not in charge of a tradition." I've never been in charge of a
No,
tradition, not once. I've been an advisor, client. I work for. I've done it, not just Corellian traditions, but many other traditions.
that's true.
Um, I act as an advisor. I'm giving great rank. I've been, and I'm retired. I've been elder. I've been first elder of the Corellian tradition twice. I've
Hmm.
served on the board of directors for a couple of different traditions. Um, and so I'm used to dealing with these sort of structures while not being in them. It says, well, what do you have the right to talk about witch wars? Well, I've been on a witch war since every year from 1991 to the writing of the first Witch Wars manual, and that one put a stop to a lot of the wars. I mean, it really brought a bigger peace.
Well,
I
yes, it
mean,
did.
suddenly people were kind of afraid to act. Kind of like okay, it's like rearming.
Well,
I do not go to,
the
I do not go to Hexfest in New Orleans. I will never go to Hexfest in New Orleans, and that's read.
perhaps one of the chapters in Witch Wars
It
Defense
is a
Manual
part of
too.
Witch Wars. Why I will not. Why not attending a fest is important. I don't. I think it's a great fest. For a lot of people, think it's a great fest. A lot of people speak really well of it. I won't speak against it, but it is my personal commitment not to do that.
And Mary says that she saved the
Mm-hmm.
the PDF from Witch Wars Defense Manual 1, and will probably start reading it tonight. And I think you'll find it very interesting. Witch Wars Defense Manual 1 is a series of essays on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And like Edward was saying, it did stop a certain amount of Witch Wars. Oh, and there is one of the 100 actual hard copies.
I think this might be for the 100. I think this is one of my prototypes.
Okay, it may
I
be.
think this is pre-printed. I found a couple of mistakes in this that I know we corrected.
Okay. Well, it was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it. And you wrote it in what, 10 days?
10 days.
Yeah.
No sleep. Angry as, oh yeah, hardly any sleep. Angry as terrible. Oh, I was so mad. So many things were happening simultaneously. And probably the biggest thing that happened is that I went to go, to prove that I owned Witch School, to prove that we had a right to it, I put it up for auction.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tactic. People were horrified. People to this day hate me for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it proved beyond a reasonable doubt who controlled the system. That was a
Yeah, because
very
other people were claiming that they did. And
right.
there had to be a demonstration.
And then at the last minute, the auction ended without anyone being able to buy it. We kept it to ourselves. We ended the auction.
Mm-hmm.
I ended the auction. This is probably the first time people will hear about that, but I ended the auction. And nobody knew at the time.
Arlene says that she remembers it being a class at Witch School. It probably was. It certainly should be.
Defense manual?
Yeah.
No, it was in the library. It was never.
Oh, in the library.
Yeah, it's never been a class. It's too discordian. It's not.
It is a little discordant.
Smoothness to us. It's a,
It is a little discordant.
And it's a little bit different because it's a series of essays, and this one will be able to do so. Oh yeah, I had to fight to prove that my money, and Don's and other people's money too, really, but it was definitely my money that got put into it,
Mm-hmm.
and it got through what, and why I'm telling you what not. How did I do it? I sold stuff through eBay. I would go through thrift stores by day, work pay for my kids and all that through my job during the day at Fantasy headquarters, which I was taking online. And then I would go to thrift shops, and this is early. So this is, nobody really understands how valuable some of the goods are. My friend Doug once said there's an item inside every thrift store, and I still believe this true today. It's worth 100 times what you'll pay for it.
Oh, yes, I'm sure that's true.
And so that's what Whatnot's about. Because Whatnot's going to give us ability to buy and flip things faster, to share in things quicker, and get things into your product hands quicker. It is the same thing as eBay at a highly sped up rate. And
well, it's like you were saying when we were offering books from my library for sale. Many of those books were worth at least 10 times what we were offering them for.
Oh, sure.
People got very good bargains because of my circumstances.
Right.
And, this is true now, too. You can get very good bargains here. And people don't realize all of these projects cost money.
Sure.
Keeping all of this going costs money. And it's not all self-generating money. It has to come from a number of different sources, including personal contributions and things that may not immediately seem to be related. And this is a good example of that because you're supporting a lot of things when you support Gaia Thrift, not just that one branch of everything going on.
No. But what you are going to support, one, we first have to get it going, and that's a not-for-profit 501c3 pending organization. We separated this. It's its own church. It's a local church. Even by terms of it, is is a para-ministry, a para-church.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't understand that term, but it means not the church itself, but you have the women's auxiliary who sets up their own organization, sets up their own food pantry. It's not the church that's doing it, though it looks like it. It's a small group, and it's a way to keep that organization down and focus on it. So we are focused on getting better elder care and other forms of care to people. Man, the houses around here are inexpensive. We can really help people out in a lot of different ways. Medical services around here. Danville is a full-fledged city, so we need that currently. And the second thing is, do you have a collection that you need to take care of? Do you need to remove it? Do you need to cull it? Do you need to sell it down? Okay, then talk to us. And you need to sell your bulk items. Yeah, if you're looking for us to sell at top retail, this is not the channel. But let's say you have an overrun. How many of you as a manufacturer have had an overrun? Made a mistake saying, I liked coconut weasel soap. It didn't work because coconut smelled so good you couldn't hide out. It wasn't sell soap. I don't know. But what say you made a coconut weasel soap that was perfectly good, perfectly fine, but didn't sell out?
Yes.
You need to recover the material cost. And Gaia Thrifts can help you with that too.
Absolutely.
We might not be able to sell it at full retail, but we can teach you how to do it. And we can also eventually be teaching through this idea of you having your own sellers accounts. Please do that. Sign up through our seller accounts. But I'm very excited. So at 6 p.m. tonight, we're going to do our first test. And once we get there, you're going to be seeing, just like we do live Facebook Lives, and some of this will be Facebook Lives, we will be able to do this.
Absolutely. So that's 6 p.m. Central tonight at whatnot.com.
Yep.
And in the meantime, if you're interested in acquiring some of those books without having to go through the auction, you can do so. And I believe they're listed on your Facebook page.
And on Gaia Thrift.
So have a look and see what's there. And maybe we'll see you tonight at the auction.
Yep. And that's what makes it exciting. Back to having live auctions. And always check us out. We're going to be developing a lot of different ways to sell things. But this tonight, whatnot, join it, be a part of it. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And then there you go.
But thank you, everyone. We have fulfilled our half hour. So let us close with our prayer as we always do. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we ask you to help us as we go through life, to make the most of our opportunities, and to create a better world as we go. Help us to do the next right thing in all situations, and help us to find the value in all of our experiences. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love, and knowing you are always here, still from respect, we thank you for your presence, and may you be blessed now and always. And I thank you for your presence. May you be blessed now and always, and I'll be back tomorrow with my weekly roundup of